Please welcome Reverend Adam Sutton to our pulpit.
Good morning. So what a total treat this is. That was the professional bio. You can read that on the website. It's a little bit formal. It's very sweet of Stan to include all of that. I'm also an interspiritual minister, ordained reverend, but not in the UU faith. But I will tell you, one of the reasons it is a thrill to be here this morning is because Reverend Kate and I cut our spiritual teeth together alongside our mentor, Kim Crawford Harvey, at Arlington Street Church. So this is such a treat to be able to be in the meeting house where I've sat many times in the pews, and to be able to stand and offer some thoughts, and my open heart and mind is a gift. So
the prayer today is by Nathan C. Walker. After our spoken prayer and a time of silence, we will sing together Spirit of Life, which is printed in your bulletins and is number 123 in your hymnals. Breathing in, I am aware of my pain. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not in my pain. Breathing in, I am aware of my past. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my past. Breathing in, I am aware of my anger. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my anger. Breathing in, I am aware of my despair. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my despair. Breathing in, I am aware of peace. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of peace. Breathing in, I am aware of love. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of love. Breathing in, I am aware of joy. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of joy. Breathing in, I am aware of hope. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of hope. Breathing in, I am aware. The reading this morning comes from Wilfred Owen, the British poet from around the World War I era. It is called Music. I have been urged by earnest violins and drunk their mellow sorrows to the slake. Of all my sorrows and my thirsting sins, my heart has beaten for a brave drum's sake. Huge chords have wrought me mighty. I have hurled the thuds of God's thunder, and with old winds pondered over the curse of this chaotic world, with low lost winds that maundered as they wandered. I have been gay with the trivial fifes that laugh, and songs more sweet than possible things are sweet, and gongs and oboes. Yet I guessed not half life's symphony till I had made hearts beat and touched love's body into trembling cries and blown my love's lips into laughs and sighs.
And as an editorial side note, I will say that my partner and now fiancé, Edwin, sat in the right place here so that I couldn't see him during the lyrics of that song. Otherwise, I would have wept. Talk about giving yourself to love. I proposed on the 4th of July, and he said yes. Okay. So I don't know how many of you have seen the most amazing Pixar film ever to come out of that studio, Inside Out. It's playing in Wellfleet. I did notice that driving down Route 6 yesterday. Inside Out is about the journey of the emotional landscape. Inside Out is an amazing film to have been made. I've read a little bit about the process of taking something that doesn't seem like it would play on film, but it plays on film, or rather animation, exquisitely. So if you haven't seen it, I'll tell you about it, but I won't spoil it. Sometimes I do have spoiler alert moments, so I won't tell you everything about it, but I will tell you that what I was moved by when I saw Inside Out was the fact that we don't often talk about the process that's going on inside of us, the feelings that we're managing moment to moment to moment. Right? We don't often have a place to sit and talk about or explore with others that rich emotional experience that we're having and how it shifts moment to moment to moment. This film is about that. It's about a young girl and her moving into puberty, which is terribly interesting emotionally, as you would imagine. And one of my favorite characters, each of the emotions, if anybody knows anything about family systems and IFS as a treatment therapy, a modality, talks about the parts of us. And my favorite part in the first part of the film is fear. So each of the emotions are anthropomorphized. That's a UU word. It's a big one. It's very intelligent and lofty. Each of the feelings are anthropomorphized. And that means each of them have an individual character and a voice and a look. One is played by Amy Poehler, one is played by Bill Hader. And Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live, I believe, plays fear. Fear plays an exquisite role in the film. Fear keeps the little girl safe. There is a moment where fear steps in and helps her move literally, physically, so that she doesn't trip. Fear makes sure that she doesn't do the things that maybe an 8 or 9 or 10-year-old girl may not know better. Right? However, fear, as an emotional protector inside of us, can also be that which creates a fog, the fog of fear that can keep us from a deep, rich emotional connection with the world around us. And so I will give nothing else away about the film, but I encourage you to see it. I wept through most of it because I am a deep feeler. That will never change, but I learn myself each and every moment how to navigate that landscape. What I have found is that there is a direct correlation between the amount of feelings I allow myself to experience fully and authentically and my capacity to move not only through fear, but from fear into love. So the lyrics of the song that the choir just thrilled us with are so perfect. We didn't talk beforehand, John. That was a great selection. Because really, I've come to share just a little bit of understanding that I have been able to figure out in my 50 years. At 50, I am afraid. At 50, I am afraid of my aging father who is exhibiting signs of Alzheimer's. At 50, I'm afraid of the fact that I've had an interesting life, a very interesting career in many different pursuits, but there's not a lot in the bank. At 50, I am afraid that I won't figure out how to move through a deepening commitment with one person. At 50, I'm afraid that I won't get through the sermon because some of the things that I really so am excited to come and share will get lost in my own nervousness. I have lots of fears at 50. But I also have learned a few things about how to move through that. Finding Faith was the title that I gave this talk. Finding faith as a way of understanding that the only way through is together. The only way through is through 3 F's that I will now share with you. One might surprise you. one of the F's of faith that I look to be able to move again from fear into love and every other piece of the emotional landscape are ferns. Ferns, yes, I said ferns. So I will tell you that maybe 3-4 weeks ago, Edwin and I discovered a place we'd never been, the Garden in the Woods in Framingham, Massachusetts. Beautiful, about 75 acres set aside, really right off the Mass Pike, much closer to civilization than one would imagine. We found out halfway through our visit that that space had been put aside by a gay couple in the 30s. And our hearts, looking at this plaque with a picture of these two men and their dog, taken, I think, in the late 30s, early 40s, looking like it could be on our mantle, opened my heart and made me realize how we care for one another. Ferns give me faith because spending an hour wandering through the Garden in the Woods, there's no lofty understanding of what God or Spirit is or whatever that larger piece that you might look to find faith. There's no need for that kind of heady discussion. In that moment, I'm able to be fully mindful, walking these paths. And there was one moment where an orange butterfly, and orange, I'm obsessed with orange. If you get to know me, I love orange. I'm wearing a little, but you can't see it. Orange butterfly alights on top of a fern, and a fern that looks as if it were featured in National Geographic, one of those shots, you know, where it's just perfectly curled as if it was set there. The orange butterfly sat quietly, sort of breathing in so slowly with its wings, in and out. And the thoughts that I had come to try to get away from because I still run from my own emotional landscape, which had to do with some tensions inside of the partnership that I've built, not this one, but the one that I have in my work, which has been very challenging on a lot of levels, and I have learned as we teach to figure out ways to be collaborative and to have a collaboration. In that moment, I couldn't see any of that, and I needed that fern and that butterfly to have a faith reminder that what I call God, what I call Spirit, was present right in that moment. It also didn't hurt that the only other people wandering through the woods, I don't know why, were a group of about 6 gay men, many of whom I knew 20 years back. So again, I'll lead into my second F, which is family. So for me to find faith in the world, I need to surround myself with all different kinds of family. I need my family of origin. I need to be able to, my sister is almost completely deaf. She's severely disabled auditorially, and so we text a lot. I need her texts. Her texts show up at the right moment. She's very intuitive, and I will get a text in a dark moment that will say, all is fine, it's all gonna be good, I'll call Dad, we'll make it happen. I need that family. But I also need the family that over the last 30 years I have manifested by pulling them to me. So when I walked in this morning, I had forgotten that Shar was a member of the congregation and that she and I met 15, 18 years ago plus at Camp, where I also met Jeff Perotti and several of the other people sitting here. And so when I walked in this morning thinking, I've never preached at the UU in P-Town, I've always wanted to. I hope it goes well. And I'm spinning and I'm spinning and I'm spinning, and I see Shar and I think, it's going to be fine. And when the chalice lighting was read and the first candle and there was a little assistance needed, Shar was the first to get up and come over. And I thought, oh, she was part of a community I was part of. Now she's part of this community and this family. That's why we show up on Sunday. We show up to remember who we are. We show up to remember our good. And we show up to remind each other. See, what I'm looking for in my faith is a very pragmatic faith. It has very little to do with Scripture, though I have studied Scripture of many varieties, and I find great peace in Scripture and great guidance. But that's not what guides me day to day. What guides me are the ferns and the forest. What guides me is my family, which has grown to now include a fiancé. And the third big F that guides my faith every moment are my friends. I am one of the luckiest people on the planet to have so many friendships that remind me how to move through that emotional landscape when I get stuck in the mud and when things feel dark. Now, I am not one to say you need to live in front of your screen, and I am trying to limit my own screen time. I love walking down Commercial Street yesterday, and 20 years ago, Commercial Street was a different experience. It looked more like this, or whatever cruising might have looked like 20 years ago. This was my experience. But I will tell you, now you walk down Commercial Street, right, and this is often what you see. Yeah. And I really don't know what's lost, but I will tell you that I have found friends even inside of this little invention. So this morning, the people who couldn't be here, people all over the Cape, people in my life, who had seen the posting that I put out yesterday saying that I was going to be preaching today. Those are my faith touchstones. That's what I have faith in. This morning I did turn on my phone. I did see a list of people who sent well wishes and said, have a great time. I'm so happy you're able to finally do this. What a gift, what a treat. Enjoy, relax, it'll be okay. See, I find that what most of us want every day is a little reassurance. We don't need a lofty understanding of faith built on a religious structure. We need to know where to go when we forget who we are, when we forget how powerful and good we are, and when we forget that life is unfolding exactly as it is supposed to. The journey you have had to get here today, so many of you are guests, and it is exquisite that you found this door. I will tell you, because I get to today from this pulpit, that I have come to understand that the journey that you have had to get here today has been rich and perfect, every moment of it. Every moment of loss, every emotion you've experienced has led you to be able to be present today, to sit in quiet for about an hour, and to come to an understanding that God or Spirit or whatever you have faith in is really just this: goodness. Faith is given us as a means to facilitate anger into love, fear into love, tension into peace. This is what we are seeking, each and every one of us, an understanding that no matter what, is going to be okay. And so I offer you that this morning, that faith, it's a big word, and it is talked about right this minute in pulpits across not only the U.S. but all over the world in ways in which sometimes is helpful and sometimes is off-putting. My plea to you this morning, my friends, is that you come to understand that your journey from fear into love through faith is a personal one. And so I ask you and I implore you to seek out your own flags, your own remembering moments, your own ferns, family, and friends, so that you can enjoy the peace of mind that comes from understanding that it's all good already. Faith is incredibly important and useful only when you personalize it. Go ahead, it doesn't hurt, and you're going to be okay. Let's just breathe in and close our eyes together for a moment. Understanding that the words that have come are right and perfect for each and every one of us. We release all that doesn't touch and resonate and hold, and we grab a hold of that which gives us faith and strength and understanding to move forward. And I invite you to continue relaxing. I can't give a talk these days without also opening other parts of me to offer song, because that's part of me. So I invite you just to relax and enjoy this as a meditation.
What's it all about, Alfie? Is it just for the moment we live? What's it all about when you sort it out, Alfie? Are we meant to take more than we give? Or are we meant to be kind? And if only fools are kind, Alfie, then I guess it is wise to be cruel. And if life belongs only to the strong, Alfie, what will you give on an old golden rule? As sure as I believe there's a heaven above, Alfie, I know there's something much more, something even non-believers can believe in. I believe in love, Alfie. Without true love, we just exist, Alfie. Until you find the love you've missed, you're nothing, Alfie. When you walk, let your heart lead the way, and you'll find love any day, Alfie. Oh, Alfie. Alfie.